Everyone. Make sure to watch the external videos about the digestive system this week. They give you a good look at how all of the organs work together. For this video, I'll concentrate on a few issues in the chapter that students tend to overlook. That is, body composition, the nature of the GI tract, how digestion and absorption work, and digestive issues. When you look at a human body, you're looking at the organismal level of organization. You can also look at an individual system, like the nervous system, skeletal system, or digestive system. You can zoom in further to look at just one organ in an organ system, for example, the heart in the cardiovascular system, or the stomach in the digestive system. Inside organs, you'll find different tissues. These are made up of similar cells working together to perform a task. Within tissue, there are individual cells, and within cells, there are molecules like DNA, proteins, and everything that makes a cell work. If you break down those molecules, you're finally left with the smallest level of organization, atoms. We'll first look at tissues. Tissues in the human body consist of 4 types: nervous, muscle, connective, and epithelial. Nervous tissue is what your brain and nerves are made of, and their job is to transmit nerve impulses. Muscular tissues can be of some different types, but all of the types have in common the fact that they contract and relax to create movement. This movement can be things like flexing your arm or squeezing food down the esophagus. The third type is epithelial tissue. This is really another word for skin, but it includes much more than skin. The inside surfaces of the hollow organs are also covered in epithelial tissue. The last type is connective tissue. This type is what bones, tendons, and fat are made of. Connective tissue supports and protects the body by holding structures together. Those are the tissues. Next, we'll talk about one of the systems, the digestive system. The digestive system includes the gastrointestinal tract. This is the tube that is made out of the mouth, esophagus, stomach, and intestines. The digestive system also includes some accessory organs, the liver, pancreas, and gallbladder. These are not exactly part of the tube that conveys food, but they contribute to the process of digestion. The general flow of things in the digestive system is first via the mouth, then the esophagus, then the stomach. The flow stops in the stomach for a few hours for digestion. Then it's onto the small intestine, where the majority of absorption occurs. This takes quite a while, from 3 to 10 hours, and then onto the large intestine. This is a much longer journey for food, lasting a few days. And then the journey ends with a trip to the rectum and anus. Please watch the 2 videos to get a better idea of how the parts work together. Something the videos don't address is the tissue level makeup of the GI tract. The tube all throughout the tract has 3 layers. The innermost layer is the mucosa, and the mucosa is made up of epithelial tissue since it's an inside lining. Around the epithelial tissue is muscular tissue. It's what squeezes and causes movement along the tube in the process of peristalsis and segmentation. And then around the muscular tissue is serosa. This is a type of connective tissue that supports the GI tract. Throughout the GI tract, movement is stopped by sphincters. These are muscles that contract like a ring along the tube. There are 5 sphincters. The lower esophageal sphincter is in between the stomach and esophagus. This is the one that malfunctions in heartburn. The pyloric sphincter is between the small intestine and the stomach. The sphincter of Oddi is between the bile duct from the accessory organs and the small intestine. The ileocecal valve is between the small and large intestines, and the anal sphincter is the end of the GI tract. These help the contents of the organs proceed in one direction. The job of the organs of the digestive system is to digest food. They do that in different ways depending on the organ. Throughout the tract, there are various secretions that are mixed with the food. In the mouth, saliva begins digesting carbohydrates because it has an enzyme called amylase. Saliva is also rich in water, which helps lubricate the food and aids swallowing. Mucus in the mouth and elsewhere is important because it keeps the food wet so it can move more easily, and mucus also protects the cells that line the inside of the GI tract. Besides amylase, other enzymes are secreted. These all have specialized roles. Lipases cut apart fats, and proteases cut apart proteins. Hydrochloric acid is secreted only in the stomach, where it helps inactivate ingested proteins, destroys many bacteria, dissolves minerals, and activates pepsin. Bile is made in the liver and stored in the gallbladder. It's needed to emulsify fat. Bicarbonate is manufactured in the pancreas and released into the small intestine to neutralize the stomach acid. And various hormones are released, especially in the stomach and small intestine, which control the behavior of surrounding cells to halt or hasten digestion. If digestion goes well, then there will be nutrients available to be absorbed in the small intestine. Nutrients will be passed through the cells in the intestine, eventually to the bloodstream. Absorption can occur passively or actively, meaning that ATP would be required. It can also involve endocytosis, which refers to the process by which packets of molecules are engulfed by the intestinal cells. And finally, it can involve facilitated diffusion. This means that the molecules entering the cells are specifically transported with specialized protein carriers, rather than floating through the cells and cell membrane as occurs in passive diffusion. Although the small intestine is where most of the nutrients are absorbed, some can be absorbed elsewhere. The stomach can absorb some alcohol and water. The large intestine can absorb some minerals, water, and a few other substances, but the small intestine does most of the work by absorbing most of the minerals, glucose, amino acids, fats, vitamins, water, and alcohol. Once these substances are absorbed, they can enter either the cardiovascular system or the lymphatic system. The water-soluble nutrients go from the small intestinal villi to the hepatic portal vein, and then to the general blood supply. The fat-soluble nutrients are too big to enter the capillaries, so instead they go from the villi to lacteals and then lymph vessels. They make it up to the thoracic duct in the lymph, and then they enter the cardiovascular system. In all these steps, things can go wrong. This is a list of some common digestive ailments. I'll cover heartburn, ulcers, celiac disease, and gallstones. In heartburn and gastroesophageal reflux disease, the lower esophageal sphincter is weakened, allowing acid to enter the esophagus, causing pain and inflammation. This condition can be exacerbated by foods that are acidic, spicy, or fatty. It can be treated by neutralizing the acidity. Peptic ulcers are also common. Some people think that ulcers are caused by eating certain foods. However, in the vast majority of cases, it's really a bacteria to blame called H. pylori. Most people who are infected with this bacteria do not get ulcers, but most people who have ulcers are infected. With ulcers, the epithelial layer is damaged, allowing gastric juices and acid to affect the underlying tissue, also causing pain and inflammation. Many treatment plans for ulcers involve killing the bacteria off and then suppressing the inflammation. Gallstones are another common condition. Gallstones are hardened deposits of bile that accumulate in the gallbladder, where bile is stored. Sudden intense pain in the abdomen is a symptom of gallstones. Diets that are high in cholesterol can play a role in the formation of gallstones, but the cause isn't always clear-cut or well understood. Sometimes they clear up on their own, but they can be treated with surgery and medication if they do not. The final disease I want to cover is celiac disease. This is also known as gluten intolerance. About 1% of the population is thought to have celiac disease, even though most people don't recognize that they have it in the United States. The effects can range from mood to joint pain. Please watch the video I've posted to learn more about it. So we've covered the tissues, the composition of the GI tract, absorption, and a few digestive diseases. I hope this video helped you understand the digestive system a little better.